Oh, boys and girls, 93 episodes this has taken, but I finally have a set of home shirts that fit that I can wear in an episode. Hopefully, if you ordered yours in January, you should have also have had yours now. If you were one of the people who ordered just before they went off sale, be a couple more weeks, I think. But I am assured they're all on their way and it's nearly all done. Hello and welcome to part 93 of It's Coming Home. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have two games in the Championship. We're away against Portsmouth and at home against Blackburn. Since you were last with me, this is what we've been up to. I mean, it was all going really rather well. Unbeaten in the league in September. Decent start to October as well. Thumping Leeds. Absolutely battered by Middlesbrough. But my excuse for that is it was the game after the international break. We had to rotate a little bit because we had players, Harrison in particular wasn't fit to play, Moss wasn't fit to play, Matondo was very tired. Basically anyone who went off for international football came back shattered, and we also... Is this the game where Ryzen Fernandez got injured? No, he must have got injured in the next game. It was just a bit of a disaster, that match. Ross Wright having the worst game in the history of football, was dragged off at half-time and just... Yeah, it didn't go well for us, but we did recover with a 1-0 win against Doncaster in our last match, and this is how the league table looks as we approach the end of October. Doing far better than we possibly could have imagined. 5th place in the league after 16 games, 30 points on the board. Remember, our goal for this season, again, is just to avoid relegation. We're, 6 or 7 wins away from doing that, and it's not even November yet. This is even better form than last season. Only 7 points off the top of the league. Only 5 points from automatic promotion. We're not even looking down here other than to find Portsmouth, who we play now. Matondo's the top scorer in the division. Once again, Matondo, Gregson and Weirmouth are the 3 best players in the division. Life is good here at home. We've even got money in the bank. I mean, for goodness sake, what a ridiculous world this has become. I want to live in 2028 if this is what the future looks like. So this is the team we're putting out there for the game against Portsmouth. Remember, relegation threatened Portsmouth. I'm asking you to remember that because I know how these episodes go after I do a big, positive, excited intro, and we are probably going to lose this match. But it's important to remember we're losing against a team who aren't any good. So we've got Watson in goal, a back four of Weirmouth, Rogers, Wright and Gregson, with Harrison back in the team now at the base of the midfield. Knowles and Sawinski are our midfield with Perry as first reserve. Ryzen Fernandez has picked up an injury and he's going to be out for 3 weeks or so. So it gives Knowles and Perry the opportunity to try and establish themselves in this midfield. And then we're going with the usual front three of Moss in behind Matondo and Harris. Interestingly, Anthony Harris is wanted by QPR. That's a QPR team who are also currently down in the relegation zone. But remember, that's a QPR team that gave us £1.4 million for Alex Carmichael a few years ago. If they're still living in crazy money land, I would expect Anthony Harris to be a £15 million player. And as much as we all love him, if they offer us £15 million for him, we are going to sell him because that would set us up for the next 10 years. Right, let's... teams such as ours should be winning this game without any problem at all. Absolutely. What a way to get some complacency into the side. Before you all panic, I think it's very, very unlikely QPR are going to offer anywhere near what we'd want for with Harris. So he won't be going anywhere unless the board sell him out from under me, which is always a fear. But with money in the bank at the moment, that's less likely to happen. With Carmichael, obviously, they were spending all that money as a gamble on the huge potential he had at the time that he then didn't go on to fulfil. Harris has already fulfilled his potential. He's 26 years old. He's been a professional footballer for 10 years. He's just a good championship striker. He'll score loads of goals in this division for the next 5 or 6 years and then retire. Very happy. But you're not going to sign Anthony Harris at this point for £10 million thinking he's going to be the answer to fire you into the Champions League or anything like that, because he just isn't. By the time we're at that point, he's unlikely to be a regular starter for us anymore. Matondo, on the other hand, is already at Harris's level at age 20, 21. He's out of contract with Stoke at the end of the season. I think it's mad that there's a possibility we could sign him permanently when he's been so good for so long, but he is settled here at home. He clearly doesn't want to be at Stoke, or he'd be at Stoke, although they're on their way up to the Premier League, it seems. But imagine if we join them and are able to sign him permanently in the summer. that would be a wonderful situation to be in. But let's stop talking about promotion to the Premier League, because 45 minutes into the game and we're still 0-0 against a terrible Portsmouth team. So I think we're gonna get aggressive. I'm not happy with this performance. I want to put on a show for everybody. Yes, we've had 70% possession, but we've not had a single shot on target. I'm here talking about how great our two strikers are, and despite not really letting Portsmouth kick the football at any point, we've not been able to test their keeper in 45 minutes of not letting them have the football. That's not really a situation that is acceptable. We're going to need to throw 10 minutes of passion into this game in a minute. They're focused after their feedback. You ain't seen nothing yet, Portsmouth. Look at that. We're fired up by our feedback. Forget focus. We're fired up. Now you're nervous and apprehensive. It's still 0-0 though. Right, Harris is not having a good game. Marsh can come on for him. Matondo is not having a good game. Sir Mick Powell can come on for him. That's what happens when I talk positively about players. They don't make it past the 70-minute mark. I'm tempted to bring Perry on for Sawinski as well and do a triple, but you lot always tell me off when I do a triple substitution, so we'll just do the two for now, and Perry will come on very, very soon. What a name that is. How do you fit that on a shirt? Stockbridge Iwedelino, I think that said. Goodness me. Right, Gregson to Harrison. Back to Gregson again. Someone needs to conjure something up. We've still only had one shot on target in the entire match. This is just rubbish so far. Let's get creative. See, Portsmouth can't even keep the ball in. They're going to go and score though, aren't they? Just to make me look silly. This is what I warned you. I talked positively at the start of the episode, and now we've given away a soft penalty on 74 minutes. They'll score it, and we'll still not test their keeper for the rest of the game. We'll say it quietly in case Sports Interactive are listening. It's almost as if it's scripted. Sometimes, oh my word, sometimes this game is a frustration because it does feel, well, I'm not going to get on a rant because the tactics police will tell me it's all my fault, but I don't see how this is my fault. It's a team that's won loads of consecutive games, playing really well. Portsmouth clearly aren't cancelling us out because look at the state of the stats. It's literally the fact our strikers haven't been finishing. And there's nothing tactically I can do to make my strikers better finishers in this game, despite them being the top scorers in the division from all the other games. It's just sometimes the game, oh, you've won too many games recently. Let's just give you a defeat. Or a draw, it seems, because Wright has got his fourth goal of the season to grab us a late equaliser. I'm assuming that's all it's going to be. I am going to demand more, though, for the last 5 minutes. And maybe the game's listening, and he's on to us. He's noticed this is scripted. Let's let him have a couple of late goals so he doesn't start going to play a mobile football manager. I've just clicked push forward. I was trying to think of a name of a football manager game, and all I could think of was LMA Manager, which I've never played and hasn't existed for 10 years. I don't think I'd be able to be a full-time LMA Manager YouTuber. Right. I'll admit, I've probably messed this one up with that instruction. We've done well. Home won't believe they've only drawn that. Too right, we don't believe it. Aggressive, that was rubbish. Just really poor. And we need to be better we're now playing Blackburn, a team who are much better than Portsmouth, and hopefully we can turn things around. Right, you've all been asking for it for long enough. We're trying Perry and Sawinski together in midfield again. We have done this combination before. It never really seems to hit it off, even though, if you're looking at position suitability, they are the two players who probably should be starting week in, week out in midfield. I don't know. I think my issue is Perry's just not one of our own. So it's taken me a long time to learn to love him the way I love Lerick Fernandez. But I guess Perry is someone I identified and deliberately brought in and then stuck with us, even though he had the opportunity when he wasn't even in our team to move on to bigger and better teams. So you could argue that Perry probably deserves the chance more than anybody. He's been very, very patient. Been at the club, 3-4 years at this point, has never been a first team regular. Now's his opportunity. With Fernandez still out for a couple more weeks, if Perry can have a couple of consecutive really good performances in that midfield, he can tie down a starting spot for a little while. Wright has just got his 5th goal of the season. Ross Wright, I tell you what, not only does he have that last day of the season free kick spectacular in his arsenal, he started doing it here and there on days that aren't just the last day of the season, and he's starting to become more of a threat from set pieces as well. That's his second goal from a corner in this episode. Wright's going to get double figures for goals this season, which is mad. I might stick him on penalties as well, see if we can get a 20-goal-a-season centre-back, taking the penalties, the free kicks, and being a threat from corners. He doesn't even need to play centre-back, even if it gets to the point where he's not a good enough centre-back. We'll just, I don't know, stick him on the left wing. Nothing matters on the left wing. Stick him out on the left wing, and he can just score lots of goals from out there and not really do anything else. There was a goal conceded in there for those of you listening rather than watching. I know there are more and more people telling me, I tend to just listen, Kev. Some people even listen in the car, which I hope you've got the screen off and you are just listening, because obviously watching YouTube videos whilst driving the car, bad idea. But I know some people listen in the car. It's 1-1 for those of you listening, like I'm the radio. Anthony Harris has just made it 2-1. 24th minute, 10th goal of the season. It's a lovely finish. Rotondo nodded it down to him. I think it was a Sawinski ball forward. The 3D replay. They're all 3D, Kev. You haven't played in 2D for 5 years. My word. The replay. Blast from the past there. It was Moss who played the ball forward, not Sawinski. And Matondo kind of bundled it down towards the floor rather than nodding it down. This is why I'm not a radio commentator, because I'm not Captain Details, let's face it. Perry plays it across to Moss beautifully. I think, has that gone down as a goal for Moss? It's a huge deflection. It's gone down as an own goal. And poor old Blackburn, they've got to feel a little bit hard done by here. It's Harrison with the original free kick. The clearance falls only as far as Perry. Perry does really well to slide it across to Moss. And Moss, I think that was going wide on this side. And the huge deflection just stuck it into the opposite corner. And if I was Blackburn manager, I'd be cross around about now. But as it is, I'm quite happy that we started scoring goals again. Matondo, that was a beautiful takedown. And again, we're getting little slices of luck in this game. We've got Blackburn on the ropes here, 3-1 up. We could, when we've played this well in other games previously, these are the situations where we go 4 or 5-0 up by, or 4 or 5-1, or 4 or 5-2 up by half time. We do seem to be pretty leaky at the back though. This isn't quite like Leeds all over again, which I think was a match I played off camera. So you don't even know what I mean when I say Leeds, or did I show you it at the start of the episode? But we were like, I think we went 1-0 down and ended up winning 5-1. And the goal that we conceded really woke us up and we played really well and had a rampant first half. But we seem to be a little bit too leaky at the back for rampant to be the word that we can use today. I would like another goal though, although we are mugging Blackburn at the moment. Just the one clear-cut chance in the game and it's fallen to them so far. 5 goals though, so 3-3. For goodness sake. Where are Blackburn in the league? Just below us. Clearly, it's this 4-2-3-1. This is the same system Middlesbrough used. We just can't defend against it. Because our fullbacks push on so far, it ruins us. Teams playing wide, but also keeping a couple of men in the middle. We just can't defend against it. We just have to hope we outscore them, which we looked like we might do in this game until they started scoring lots of goals too. We absolutely didn't do against Middlesbrough, and we paid the price and were absolutely battered. It does show that as teams start to take us a little bit more seriously and we start playing better and better teams, I don't know how much longer we can play this gung-ho diamond all the time. Right, let's passionately say we've been the better. Oh no, I don't want to say keep doing what you're doing and we'll be fine. I want to say, yeah, keep working hard. Let's go out there, try and score 3 or 4 goals in this second half, and hope we don't concede that many. That's the Kev way to win a football match. None of this defending or countering the opposition. Let's just keep scoring goals and hope we score more often than they do. That's always our tactic. Right, I am looking at the bench thinking, who have we got who's going to come on and score a goal for us? Marsh, Powell, Knowles are the only remotely attacking changes that we've got, and even Knowles probably not so much. Yikes, Sawinski's not playing well. Let's get Knowles on for him. Are they better that way round? Actually, Perry, Natural, Mazzala. Let's keep him on. And we are going to get Marsh on for Matondo, which I know the comment section is furious that it's Marsh who's come on rather than Mick Powell or Sir Mick Powell. But got to be realistic. We all know Marsh is the better of the two. He's done it again. Kev's being a monster. What just happened? That is a nightmare for Watson. That's just terrible goalkeeping. And somehow, we just turned down our 10 minutes of passion as well. And somehow we find ourselves behind in a game we look like we were cruising to victory in. And this guy, I think, has got a hat-trick. But that is terrible goalkeeping. There's no tactical explanation for that. There's no excuse to be made there. That's just bad luck and poor goalkeeping. Harrison's having a poor game, so Phillips can come on for him. And once again, gotta say, folks, I do feel a little bit like the game's realised it's let me win too many games in a row, and now it's punishing me for it. Because we haven't been hugely outplayed in this game. But now, why is Watson doing that? Watson's been in brilliant form, and now all of a sudden, he's just flapping at everything. It's like the let's make the goalkeeper flap for a little while switch has been turned on. How are we so under pressure now, all of a sudden? I know they've had way more clear-cut chances than us. It is a fair result for them to win. But it didn't look like this was going to happen half an hour in. And I don't see that they've necessarily changed anything. They haven't changed their shape, that's for sure. Ugh. Dirty episode. That was horrible. Not good enough today. Just not good. That wouldn't be good enough on any day. Never mind today. That was awful. Right, when are we coming back for the next episode? Monday, 4 PM for starters. That's when we're coming back. And who are we going to be playing, Kev? I'm glad you asked, Kev. Let's have a look if the schedule screen ever loads up, which looks like it's not going to. Right, wrong. Press the right buttons, man, for goodness sake. Right, we're going to be back for Christmas. We're going to do Southampton, who I think are still top of the league. They are. Southampton and Derby in the next episode. A top of the table clash as long as we win the 6 games we've got. I mean, form doesn't look as good anymore, does it? We looked so nice for so long, and now if you look at our last 5 games, that's not very good form. But we are still on course for safety, and that's the important thing. And you never know, we might be coming into the next episode beating Southampton to go top of the league, because that's kind of seems to be how these things happen from time to time. But that would be, remember, 4 PM Monday. We are still on the school holiday schedule for another week. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.